What is going on, everybody? It's Salute here, and we are back with another video. And today we are looking at a 1 to 70 Demon Hunter guide, as well as the first DR20 when you reach level 70. We're going to be covering living strategies, gear, and skills, basically. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, make sure to hit that like button and also subscribe to my channel to see more future content. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright, so in terms of the 1 to 70 strategy, I would advise to go and look at my 1 to 70 general guide, because that was the strategy we are going to be using for 1 to 70. This one here, I'm going to be mostly looking at what Demon Hunter would do specifically. Alright, so for instance, we know that we have a 100% guarantee to get a good ancient weapon when we upgrade and extract the weapon. We're going to get either the Color's Point, which increase our damage by Impale, and it returns 15 hatred when we hit an enemy. Or we're gonna get Lord Greenstone's Fan, which basically means that every second we gain about 400% increased damage for our next Fan of Knives, and that stacks up to 30 times. So, in terms of what you get, that's of course what you want to be used as your main damage source. In terms of skills, there are a few general things we would want, no matter what kind of weapon we get. First of all, we want some kind of mobility. This is where Vault with Tumble comes in. It's very great for just getting around the map and getting from pack to pack. We want some kind of companion, which is a cooldown. Basically, Wolf Companion is pretty good. Grants you and your allies 15% increased damage for the next 10 seconds. Now, if you get Color's Point, we of course want to be playing with Impale, and I recommend using Ricochet or Over Penetration, but Ricochet is probably the better one while leveling. Also, another good spell for us to have would be Vengeance Seath. But it's just my recommendation, of course. You can play around with it as much as you want. But of course, if you get the Color's Point, you of course want to be playing with Impale. In terms of passives, there are some great passives in here that can help us with mobility and damage. For instance, Tactical Advantage is a very good one. It basically means that when we use Bolt, we get 60% movement speed for 2 seconds. Hot Pursuit is also pretty good. It basically just gives us a 20% flat movement speed increase. When you get further up in the levels, stuff like Ballistics helps a lot in terms of the damage, especially if you have Vengeance Seath. Ambush is also pretty good in terms of just getting you extra damage. And if you are leveling with the Lord Greenstone's Fans, I would recommend basically the same passives as well as that. The only difference being when you get the Lord Greenstone's Fans would be to have some kind of secondary spender. I would probably use Chakram with twin Chakrams. This is gonna be our main damage when we are on cooldown for Fan of Knives or waiting for more stacks. Your Fan of Knives, you can use quite a few of these. At first you would probably go with Pinpoint, but as you might notice while you're leveling up, you don't really need to get that many stacks, right? You don't need 30 stacks of the weapon before you can actually pop it. Blade armor is also pretty good, especially playing hardcore, get extra toughness in. That's about it for the leveling part. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure that you build your skills around which weapon you get. So if you get Color's Point, of course use Impale, and if you do use Lord Greenstone's Fan, use your Fan of Knives. Now, the first build we're going to be looking at is the GR20 if you have the Impale weapon, right? So this is going to be our spells. It's pretty straightforward. It's like the same but before. With the leveling, we have some mobility and we have some cooldowns. We have some spenders, we have some builders, and our main focus is making sure we can use Impale Ricochet as much as possible. Skills and passive buff that basically. In terms of gear, I have literally just thrown this together in 2 minutes. It's just random level 70 gear. I have rerolled them maybe like 3 times each. As you can see, like they're nothing special. I haven't even rerolled this or the pants or the boots. It's just, you know, random 70 gear that you get, you know, after 10 minutes of being 70 basically. There's a random yellow gear with no stats on it. As you might know, this time around we're getting the UE set, and we need to complete a DR20 before we can get the 6 set. So we're using the 4 set at the moment. Now, the 4 set is alright. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it's fine. The 2 set. Your generators generate 2 additional hatred and 1 discipline. Not that great, but why not? Now the 4 set here is pretty good. You gain 60% damage reduction, and you deal 60% increased damage for 8 seconds if no enemy is within 10 yards of you. Now in terms of gameplay for the Impale and doing a Druid 20, this is what I would recommend in terms of your skills and passives, but you can of course play around with it. Basically this is what I would recommend, and playstyle is pretty simple. You roll around, you use your wolf companion before you attack a pack basically, so you have that 15% increased damage. Fan of Knives basically on cooldown to get that damage reduction in. Your Impale is all your damage here, so make sure you actually hit enemies and especially go for the elites. Now while playing this, don't just kill every little single mob you do. You do want to move from pack to pack and hit at least like 4 or 5 enemies at the same time. That way you're not wasting time. As you can see in the gameplay behind me, it is a pretty easy build and skill setup to use. It takes about 5 to 6 minutes to do it, and that's with me without doing anything specific. And also you can see I don't click the parlance just to make sure that you guys can see that the build is actually good and it's not just a lucky conduit, right? Now in terms of the Fan of Knives build, it's pretty similar. There are a few things I have changed a bit. So basically you want to be using Vengeance here with C's pretty good for just consistent damage, and it gives you quite a bit of hatred as well. Secondary twin shotgun actually does quite a bit of damage, and it's basically just a pooling tool, so you want to use it to pull mobs around you so that you can blast them all with one single Fan of Knives. Now in terms of your Fan of Knives, which is basically all of that your damage, there are a few runes that you can choose from. Pinpoint accuracy is a bit overkill. You don't need that much to kill enemies on a 20. Like you don't need more than like 5 to 6 stacks to kill an elite. So having to wait 15 seconds is a bit overkill, but it does work and it does do a lot of damage. If you're playing hardcore, I would probably go with bladed armor. You don't need the damage, and the damage reduction is pretty good. Now the one I used in my clear here was the Assassin's Knives. Basically just makes that you also throw knives at enemies around you that also deals damage, right? And you have some kind of range to it. Now the gameplay is pretty easy. You basically just want to use your vault around to go from pack to pack. Use your wolf companion just before hitting your Fan of Knives to get extra damage. You want to use your chakram to pull mobs around you. If you have an open room, pull mobs from all corners to you, and then use your Fan of Knives to just explode them all. And that's about it for this. It is very easy for a Demon Hunter to get their first DR20 done. As you can see in the gameplay behind me, I just walk right through it, and I don't even click parlance just to show you guys that it's very easy. That's about it for this guide. If you have any questions or concerns, make sure to put that in the comments down below. And if there's anything specific content wise you would like to see from me, make sure to also put that in the comments down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next time. Peace out.